Today, I am so excited to share with you. I had the incredible opportunity. Well, I'm going to say I got in this special group that she has of people that get to work with Germaine Gladu. She does property prep and staging. It's a true treat to watch these videos. I'm going to tell you a secret. I'm going to tell you a secret that I really just learned. It's pretty amazing, and I was pretty surprised by the end result. Other people had told me, I didn't believe them. I did believe them, but until you go through it yourself, you don't really believe it. I've staged houses before, but I never felt like what we did was a product that would really be a product to put out there that the most amount of people would want. And then I met Germaine. Germaine is not just a stager. She does property prep and staging. And the things that she did for the house that we're in, which you're going to see little snippets of it as we go through, are incredible and amazing. And I want Germaine to tell you some very basic things that are important, really important. If you're thinking about selling your house and you're thinking about how do I go about this, how do I do this, and how do I get the maximum amount of money? First thing I'll tell you is have a great agent. Germaine will agree with me. What's next?
Yes. Well, having a great agent is the most important thing. The next step is, I think, preparing for it, getting the help, asking for the help that you need.
Asking for people or for someone like you?
I think that your agent will get you to me.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because it's really important for me to work with the agent and the client.
Because you decide all the things as you're going through it.
Yeah, it's a triangle. It's
Okay.
a back and forth. Without the agent, I don't know what the value of the home is.
You know what the comps are?
I'm not pulling comps.
You don't have any idea.
Yeah. So we start with that. What is the current value of the home? And I always say, this is the line that gets everybody. I always say, what would you list this home for if we all left right now and you put a sign in the yard?
So you come up with this fictional number based on exactly what exists in the market right now in the house and the condition that it's in.
Yeah. And that's why I need the agent. What's your list price today? Now,
Just to interrupt you for a second, the list price here that we had was $50,000 under what we ended up getting for this house. So,
and that's great. I've been known to move the list price over 100,000. So when we start talking about this process, people get really excited when they understand that this is what we would list for today, because this is what the market is saying that the home is valued at. And then if we do this work for this amount of money, then it will be this much. Okay.
So this work meaning like anything, like, because you do property prep.
Yeah. So it could be painting the walls. It could be stripping the floors and refinishing them.
We did that here.
Yes. Most houses don't take that much. Painting is a big thing. For example, if you want the ceilings to look higher, paint the walls white. It's why everybody's using white, and everyone asks, why do you use it? Well, it blends into the ceiling and it becomes a larger space.
Didn't really think about it that way.
Yeah.
All white isn't necessarily just too neutral. It lifts the room.
Right. So there are a series of things. I've changed kitchen counters before. There are a series of things that I come in and I say, okay, if we do X, Y, and Z, we can really create a story here. We can create a vibe, the mood. What is
about the emotion behind the vibe that's already in this house and the story they've already created? How do you overcome that?
Well, there are a few different ways. So when I see a house, it's either empty or it's in the process of being emptied.
So partially empty, kind of a mess still.
Yeah. So what I do is I look at the bones of it. What's great here? What can we highlight? And then look at some of the things that we can do very simply. So when we're talking about property prep, we're not talking about a 6-month process. We're talking about like 3 weeks.
Okay.
So basically, it's a flip prior to putting the house on the market where the current owner gets the benefit. So I want to go back to something that we were talking about with the for sale sign in the front yard. A big thing that, a big question that I ask the owner, because many times they don't want to put the money into the house when they're about to release it.
No, you're right.
And I say, okay, if you give me $15,000 today and we can list at this price, would you take that deal? That's $40,000 in your pocket. You just paid for me, you're paying for your real estate agent, and you're walking away
with more money,
feeling good about it and with more money. And we should also talk about feeling good about it, because for most buyers or sellers that I work with, it's not about the money.
No, it's the emotional attachment they have to the house. But if you think about it, it's the product that you're working
Yeah.
with. You're working with their product. And I know your background is in visual merchandising.
Yeah.
What a great way to, to segue into that. But she's not just staging. You're not just staging. You're taking this product and putting it to the best possible, highest
Yeah.
use
Right.
to sell.
When we define who the buyer might be, is it a family? Is it a retired couple? Is it a young couple that's about to start out? That's when we start to create the story about what the house is now. Because the current owner had their time, they lived the way they wanted to live. And now we have to present the house in a way that's going to appeal to the most amount of people.
Palatable to the largest demographic.
Yeah. So in this house, we knew it's 4 bedrooms. It's in an amazing neighborhood. It's got a community pool. And what we're saying here is it's probably going to be a family or a young couple that's about to have a family, right? And so we staged it that way.
She staged a nursery upstairs, which made complete sense now.
Yeah. We staged a nursery, a room that could be a boys' room, a room that could be a guest room or a girls' room. And we made sure that we had office space. Post-COVID, office space is a huge thing.
Important.
It's so important. And we made sure that when we staged the upstairs, the room that would be, a little bit more masculine, but was definitely a secondary bedroom, we put a desk in.
To make it like that.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing that you're going to find really interesting if you see a house that's staged by Germaine, and I want to talk about it, is this isn't your basic staging. It's very, I want to say there's sustainability. She's not bringing in just all new things into the house. It's culturally significant. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I think my number one goal is to make it look like it's lived in. So everybody reacts to how beautiful it is in the end. But I think part of that is that it's so comfortable. I know I did my job if I stage a house and I want to bring a bottle of wine on the last night and invite a friend. Then I know that I did my job.
So I definitely wanted to do that here.
Yeah. So I think it's important to show not just furniture placement, but how the placement of the furniture relates to the activities in the home. Where does the TV go? So is the couch placed appropriately? Do we have enough seating? One of the issues that I found in this house was, okay, where are we going to, if we have a big party, where does everybody go? And that is in my mind all the time. I'm not going to, yes, I'm not a stager who's going to bring in a really pretty sofa and a chair. I want the potential buyer to see where they're serving,
livability,
where they're serving their food, where they're watching TV, where they're going to work, where the kids' things go. So I try to put myself into their shoes.
Okay, so this is a kind of we had a lovely, lovely seller here, but it was an emotional time for him. Do you have other sellers that the attachment is just so difficult for that, putting about this much money to make your product different than the house that you had such joy in? How do you balance that?
Every single one of them has been seriously attached in some way to the house, because you choose a house because you love it. You love it because you've lived there. So I think one important thing is just listening to them. Having an understanding that it's difficult.
Well, I did listen to Germaine do this, but boy, she has a very smooth way of making a seller understand the importance behind it. That she feels his emotions.
Yeah.
You felt it. You understood it. I think you felt it a lot here.
Yeah.
And then you were able to help him through it.
Yeah. And there's an acknowledgement at one point where the owner almost gives up. Right? And when I say give up, that means they're just buying into it now. They're saying, okay, it's yours. And I tell a lot of buyers, if you hire me, and it's kind of in the contract, so we should be honest. If you hire me, you're going to hand me the keys and the house is mine for 3 weeks or 2 weeks, whatever it is. And then it's somebody else's, because you're hiring me to pass it along.
That's true.
You're not hiring me to keep it.
It's a journey. You're putting them on the road.
Yeah. And it's important for them to understand that although I try to tie in a lot of what they loved or what they had here. For example, I had a client that had animal prints everywhere. Well, I threw in leopard pillows and I had some skin.
So there was some comfort.
There was some comfort there. I had somebody who was a collector of cigars. So we had cigar boxes. So I like to bring a little bit of them into the equation. But in the end,
It's you.
not, yeah, it's not
it's
theirs anymore.
But it's so interesting that, staging versus prep and staging, the difference that it makes. And it made a dramatic difference. The people we had walk through this house, and by the way, it sold in a weekend. We had 75 people at the open house, and I really couldn't get them to leave. I mean, they were just
That happens.
They were
all
just
the time.
they were just staying
love
here,
it.
and they wanted to be in this space. So that kind of proved to me that it was proof positive that the story that you were telling, everybody was understanding, and the story that you were telling. I mean, you've done a fantastic job here.
Thank you.
So
Thank you so much.
And the seller is delighted. Hence why we're here filming
love
today, because he said, "Sure, please,
Yeah.
highlight what."
And
Germaine
he
has
was
done for me."
great because he really bought into it, which
He
is
did.
which
He
is
did.
nice. Yeah. He handed me the keys.
So we got a chance to talk to Germaine, and you could probably realize that Germaine and I have a lot of things in common, particularly her knowledge about houses and how she really helps people. And if you have an opportunity, and it is a special opportunity because it is a boutique company that she runs, to work with Germaine to get your house ready to sell, don't miss the chance to do it. I 100% guarantee you will love the results.